We are joined now from Yad Ezra Food Pantry. We are joined by their executive director via Zoom, Lea Luger. Lea, welcome to the MegaCast.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
So for those who are unfamiliar, can you just give us a little information about what Yad Ezra is?
Well, Yad Ezra, which literally means helping hand in Hebrew, was established in 1990 to provide free kosher groceries to low-income families in southeastern Michigan. And what started out as a very small endeavor out of a basement has grown into a much larger endeavor out of a 16,000 square foot building by providing over 1 million pounds of free groceries to low-income families over the course of the year. We were serving about 1,100 families every month, representing about 2,400 individuals prior to COVID-19. Our numbers have obviously increased and continue to grow. By at least 10%, moving towards the 20% mark. The good news is the community has been very responsive and supportive of us and realizes that everyone should have food on the table. So we are able to provide those groceries very differently than formerly, but we are doing it through a delivery service only. Prior to COVID-19, clients came to our building and would choose the groceries that they needed and wanted. And now, because we didn't want clients to come to us, this was even before the governor executed her stay-at-home mandate. We decided that for the health and well-being of clients, and frankly also our volunteers and staff, it would be better to move to a deliveries only system so that people could still get their groceries during this time.
Well, that's huge, to be able to modify and adapt what you're doing to the times while still fulfilling your greater message and your greater objective, which is to provide food to people in need. So with that being said, in these times, with safety being absolutely paramount, what is Yad Ezra doing to ensure that the food that they're delivering to these people are safe, and that the people that are delivering the food are also staying safe as well?
Well, so we've stopped allowing anyone into the building other than our small staff. There's 7 of us, okay? And our model has always been a very small staff and a large core of dedicated volunteers who partner with us to get the food to these families. So in the past, when we had volunteers at stations here providing the clients with the groceries, now what we've done is we have staff and a few volunteers pre-package groceries. We've reached out to people who want to volunteer to do deliveries, who come to us. We load the groceries into the trunks of their cars, obviously following social distancing etiquette, masks, gloves, everything to protect everyone's safety. And then the volunteers are calling the clients and telling them that they are on their way and to be prepared to receive the food items. No one's going into any apartment buildings. Everything is being dropped off at the front stoop or front door. And this is a way that the clients protected, as well as frankly the volunteers, so that we can get the food to these families in need without jeopardizing anyone's health.
So we spoke earlier in the program with Ren Hack, the executive director of Hazon Detroit, and she mentioned that food insecurity in this time with the pandemic going on has dramatically increased, and there are more people in need. Has Yad Ezra been able to respond to that and be able to keep up? Is there an increased demand, and what has your organization been doing to keep up with that?
Well, even though we're a kosher food pantry, so we're kind of pigeonholed, anyone who needs food and contacts us is going to get something. We're on, for example, United Way's 211 list. And we've had a number of emergency calls from people who they don't care that we're a kosher food pantry. They care about getting food. And so what we will do in that instance is have them come to our building where, again, we will prepackage some groceries and put it in the trunk of their car. So they stay in the safety and security of their car while being able to get some groceries. And since the pandemic, we've had, I would say maybe 10 people a week who've been availing themselves of that service. At the same time, we give them a list of other pantries that they can go to. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, a number of pantries have had to close their doors. But because we are as large as we are, providing about, again, over 1 million pounds of groceries a year, we have had some of our sources cut us off, if you will. But for the most part, we are able to meet the need and exceed that need. We've been stockpiling items since the beginning of this to ensure that we do not run out of things like chicken and ground beef.
Yeah, that leads into my next question for you, because I've been to your facility before. We at Civic Center TV and Lakes FM, we've done work with you before in the past. We've interviewed you before, and I've seen the facility. It's a large food pantry. There's plenty of food there on a regular basis, and during this, a lot of what you get is donations, correct? So.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, people are dropping off their post-Passover food, that they didn't use up. But the truth of the matter is the money goes further. We certainly appreciate having people drop off food that they think we need, and we will use it. We will distribute it. But because of our buying power, monetary donations go a lot further.
Okay. Yeah, because my one thing that I was thinking about was with the usual mode of donation, and then in this time it may be a little bit more difficult to get those in, especially if you're closing off your facility. But that's great information to have for our community, that monetary donations are more helpful to your organization at this point in time, so you can continue to provide the food in a safe manner. So on that note, if people want to help and people want to be involved by a donation, how can they make that happen?
Well, they can call our phone number, which is 248-548-3663, and talk to any one of us who would be happy to provide them with the information needed. You can check out our website, www.yadezra.org, which has all kinds of information on both ends, by the way, if you're in need or if you want to help. We've got all kinds of information on the website specific to coronavirus and how we are operating at this time.
Well, that's great information, and on top of providing food to people in need, you're also partnering with, you mentioned earlier, partnering with other organizations in the community that are also addressing food insecurity. And one of those, of course, we spoke to earlier. We spoke to Ren Hack from Hazone, Detroit. They have a closer relationship with Yad Ezra through the Detroit Relief Garden initiative. How is your organization aiding other organizations at this time, and how is that helping to fulfill Yad Ezra's greater mission?
Well, I have to give a shout out to Jewish Federation of Metro Detroit, who hosts Zoom meetings every single morning with Federation and non-Federation agencies to address the needs and concerns of the community and the organizations supporting those who are vulnerable. So they've been an amazing partner, and because of these daily conference calls, we're able to, in real time, connect with other agency executives and say, oh, I can help you with this, or I need help with that. For example, since we've moved to this deliveries only, we're talking about 1,100 deliveries over the course of a month, which is a pretty daunting number. Thankfully, JFS has offered us some of their vans and drivers who were not furloughed, so that they could help us with some of the deliveries to our larger concentrated areas. So we're really all working together in an amazing way. And all of us, I think, we always appreciated each other, but this is the real deal now. And it's wonderful to see that everyone's stepping up, especially when we're so isolated, physically. The fact that we are all coming together for the greater good, I find amazingly and incredibly rewarding. And I'm just happy to be able to do what I can.
I think that is, I agree. I think that's incredible that the organizations in our community, that people from throughout our community and neighboring communities are continuing to get involved and continuing to help other people, especially in these times where we're not really able to connect person to person in person with each other, but we're still finding ways to make an impact. And I think that's profound, and that's exactly the kind of thing that people should be doing with their free time, if they have it in these times, or be able to do with their efforts wherever they can put it to help other people. So right now on the MegaCast, speaking with Lea Luger, the Executive Director of Yad Ezra Food Bank. Anything else that you'd like to say to our audience, that anything that we may not have touched on that you'd like to speak of before we let you go?
I just want to echo something that Ren said earlier. Hopefully this will end sooner rather than later, but the need will always exist. Prior to COVID-19, we still were serving over 1,000 families every month. These are families who, for whatever reason, older, many of them seniors, many of them not able to work for a variety of reasons. The need will continue to exist post COVID-19. And I hope and pray that everyone will recognize that and will continue to support the efforts of those of us who work towards food security.
Well, thank you for your efforts in the community, Lea, and thank you for joining us today. That is Lea Luger, Executive Director of Yad Ezra Food Bank.